Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Starting with the name of Allah, who is the creator of this whole universe. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. I will welcome you all to Student Volunteer Appreciation Event 2021. This is your host of the day, Dua Ibrar. Without any delay, let's start the event with the name of Allah Almighty.
اقرأ باسم ربك خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى إن إلى ربك الرجعى.
Jazakallah. Institute of Mechanical Engineers is a UK-based organization that represents mechanical engineers and engineering professionals. IMechE has become one of the fastest growing professional engineering institutes with about 115,000 members in 140 countries. Its motto, Improving the World Through Engineering, serves as the driving force behind all the events organized by different groups across the globe, aiming at providing a platform to young engineers to enhance their knowledge and their skills. Student Volunteer Appreciation Event is an yearly event of IMechE Pakistan. It is held to acknowledge the event which took place under the guidance of the student volunteers who are graduating from their universities this year. Volunteers are the great asset for any organization. It is them who make it possible for the organization to carry its mission forward in a better way. IMechE Pakistan admires the student volunteer for the time they have invested and the services they have provided, and find it necessary to appreciate their efforts. On the behalf of whole IMechE family, I would like to extend my warmest welcome to the guest of today's event. It's an honor to have you all with us today. First of all, we have Mr. Ghayasuddin Ansari. He is the fellow at Institute of Mechanical Engineers. He is a general manager at Tech Private Limited and the chairperson of IMechE Pakistan Group, and he has vast industrial experience. Next, we have Dr. Muhammad Unib, the chairperson of IMechE Pakistan Power Center. He is a PhD scholar, a chartered engineer, a fellow at Institute of Mechanical Engineers UK, and he has also served as the chair at Design Challenge Committee Pakistan and has provided his services as a plant manager at Hubco Power Plant. Next we have Engineer Muhammad Hafiz Mudassir. He is a chartered engineer, a member of IMechE UK, a professional engineer in Pakistan, honorary secretary IMechE Pakistan Group and managing director of Mesh Sol Company Limited. Lastly, we have Dr. Dr. Saeed Khan. He is the Director General of Hydrocarbon Institute of Pakistan and the President of Petroleum Club of Pakistan. Thank you so much everyone for taking time out of your busy schedule and connecting with us. Looking forward to be benefited by your expertise. As a part of today's event, we have organized a workshop named titled Beyond the University, in which the guest speaker, Dr. Muhammad Unib, would guide the graduating engineers about how to develop a career after graduation. The stage is all yours, sir.
Thank you, Doha. Can you confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible. You may continue now.
Just put up the presentation. Can you also confirm that you can see the presentation?
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Should we proceed?
Sure, sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. My name is Muhammad Munib. Thank you very much for the introduction. As mentioned, I'm a fellow of the Institute of Mechanical Engineer and currently holding the chair of Pakistan Power Center. And I was plant manager of HUBCO's largest IPP 1292 megawatt power plant. The workshop title Beyond the University, mainly the motivation behind this workshop was these graduating engineers from 6 universities of Institute of Mechanical Engineers, where we have chapters, namely the NUST Islamabad, UET Taxla, GIK Swabi. Then we have in the north, south, NET University, SOFA University, and PNAC University. These engineers who are affiliates of the institutes, they are graduating and entering into the practical world. Since the topic beyond the university also was applicable, and our association with Petroleum Club of Pakistan now, Dr. Saeed Khan Jadoon is with us as president, and Tahir Alam, who is the secretary of the Petroleum Club. They also desired to join hands and hold this seminar at the same time. So, not only that, I'm mindful that there are other professionals, like a couple of doctors, who also expressed their desire to be part of this workshop. So I welcome you all to this workshop. What we are going to do, we will just cover within the next 45 minutes. Our workshop time will be 45 minutes, and we'll leave around 15 minutes for question and answer sessions. If you have any questions, do send in the chat box to Doha, and Doha will moderate in the end. So let's begin with this workshop. In the picture, you can see the fallen tree. Last week, Karachi saw a fair bit of rainfall, and it was also associated with the strong wind. I went out for my morning walk, and this is a picture of Creek Club. And as I approached this tree, I was taken aback, and the way this tree was uprooted, it just baffled me, and just was wondering what happened to this tree. I was looking at its roots. I was asking myself, did it get proper nutrition? Did it get proper fertilizer? Was sunshine, was the right amount was right? Was it getting proper water? So all of these questions came to my mind. Also, we were planning to hold this workshop beyond the university and career management. And when you talk about career management and career beyond graduation, it's no different. If you do not look after your careers in a structured manner and provide it with the right exposure and the right trainings, this fallen tree scenario can very well happen to any one of us. We do not want to be in this situation. We would like to address what needs to be done in order for us to actually make ourselves good professionals and be successful in our careers. Before we talk about all those steps which are necessary, let me just give you a brief introduction of Institute of Mechanical Engineers. Institute of Mechanical Engineers has a pedigree of about 170 years, established by George Stephenson in 1847. And by the way, George Stephenson was a gentleman also known as father of railways. So he invented the steam engine, and he was the first president of the institute, and since then over 130 presidents have come to take the position of president. So his motivation was to give an impulse to inventions likely to be useful to the world. So the Institute of Mechanical Engineers is a UK-based organization, has 100,000 members, 19,000 spread across the globe. Activities spread in 8 regions. We in Pakistan are part of Middle East and Africa region, which is comprising of over 65 countries. Our headquarters is next to the Parliament building at First Birdcage Walk. What Institute of Mechanical Engineers offer? It offers an international platform for engineering professionals. Whether you are a consultant or you are from educational institutions, you are an employee working for an organization, it is providing you membership, and it just provides you opportunity for your career development. Involvement with the institute helps to earn worldwide prestige and respect. If you are a member, you go and just let people know what kind of membership you have. So you immediately get recognition. You enhance your international recognition and acceptance. Especially if you are in England, people immediately will recognize you, what kind of credentials you have. The credentials are very well recognized in Middle East as well, and Australia, and now IMEC is in America as well. So you have enhanced ability to work across borders. Various types of memberships. There are affiliates. Currently, young engineers are affiliates. Once you complete your graduation, you remain affiliate for some time, and then you can apply for the first membership class, which is an associate member. After spending 5-6 years of exposure, providing yourself sufficient opportunities and exposure, you can apply for membership, which is a chartered engineer or incorporated engineer or Eng Tech. So these are the categories of memberships that you can apply. Now, the last category is the highest category, which is fellowship, and after attaining sufficient experience and sufficient exposure in terms of budget management, number of people, various projects that you carried out, you can apply for the highest fellowship. By the way, this ladder is similar to other professions as well, like you have a fellowship in medical profession as well, where you have the fellowship of Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons. So I think it's similar to that. Now, as young engineers, you remained affiliates for quite some time. You got exposure to various Institute of Mechanical Engineer activities, whether they were Speak Out for Engineers, where you had opportunity to compete with young engineers having maximum of 10 years of experience in industry, and amongst your own colleagues from various universities, whether that was design competition or unmanned aerial vehicles or Formula Challenge. Yeah, there were a number of opportunities which you were exposed to, and now that you are graduating, so now what to do? So this is what the today's workshop is about. So you are now entering into the world of real action. So, what I would like to talk beyond the university, I've list down in four areas that are important and interesting, I believe. First of all, most of you must be in a process of applying for job interviews. So I would just want to talk about job interview and what kind of preparation you need to have. And secondly, the structured career development once you are into the job, even if you are not into the job, how you can give structure to your career. Thirdly, mentoring. You must have a mentor immediately. So that the third thing, stewardship, is regular monitoring. So that I'll be talking about that on stewardship as well. So first of all, let's talk about the interview. Now, my assumption is that you already have prepared a good CV, and you've sent CV to number to prospective employers, and provided that you got a shortlisted. If you are shortlisted, then you are halfway through. If you are shortlisted and called for a job, then you must go to the job interview very well prepared. You must know what the business is all about, what are the vision and values of the organization. From my own experience, I can tell you, anyone coming for a job interview and not knowing about our business, I think that's straight away no. So clearly, that's like a very important thing. Know the business inside out, where you are going, vision and values, look at it very carefully. If you are not aligned with the vision, no need to turn up for the interview. And if you don't like the values, if you think that they are not something to your taste, I think no point in turning up for the interview. Secondly, I'd like to talk about what employers look for. So you need to know, when you go for an interview, what is the employer looking for. And I just would like to talk about GE's framework here, and they call it GE's 4 E's and 3 P's. Jack Welch, as you may be aware, that he was power industry's top executives who created a lot of wealth for General Electric in 80s and 90s. When he was asked this question when he was retired, this is from one of his books called Winning, and he says a question was asked to him, how do you choose executives? And he said that he mentioned and he tried to reply because he had been picking executives, selecting executives, but when the question was asked, he wasn't satisfied with the response that he gave at that time. So he went back home and he came up with this framework and criteria, which actually is a guidance document for everyone to know what the top organizations in the power industry looks for. First of all, he is talking about the litmus test. First litmus test is about integrity. If a person who you are shortlisting has an integrity issue, just don't bother taking the person to the next stage. How do you check the integrity? It says that reputation travels faster than the man himself. So by asking references, I think very easily people come to know about the integrity, if there are integrity issues. Second is maturity and general knowledge. It's very important to have a good knowledge besides your own job, some simple mathematics, English and verbal reasoning. Every organization has tools now to get a good feel of candidates' general knowledge and IQ and the behavioral aspects. So before he turns up for the interview, the panel of interview have got the report on the general knowledge and the behavioral aspect of what are the strengths or what are the weaknesses of the individual. Then he talks about 4 E's, and the first E stands for energy. How much energy do you have to carry out the actions and the change that is part and parcel of the corporate life. So ability to thrive on action and change. So that is the first thing that they are looking for. Do you have good level of energy? And this can be easily exhibited when you are asked questions on various topics. You are asked questions, and will come to know whether you are energetic about the issues and how to approach the problems. Second is energize. If you have good energy, can you transmit this energy to others? So ability to energize others. Can you motivate people? Can you inspire others? And sometimes there are people who have a lot of energy, but they demotivate others. So second thing that they are looking at is ability to energize others. The third thing is edge. They call it edge, ability to make tough yes or no decisions. With 100% information available, anyone can make a decision. The important thing is when you have less information, you need to make decisions, and this debate cannot go endless. So with 30, 40, 50% information, you need to make decisions, and that's what they are looking for. Are you continuing to postpone that decision, or you have the ability to take decision? And the fourth one is execute. And this is called ability to get the job done and get over the finish line. So there are people who can open up number of projects, but they don't close the projects. I think it's the ability to finish the job, as Stephen Covey says, that finish with end in mind. So when you have end in mind and have end target date in mind, so that if you can finish the job and deliver the project, that's the important thing. And the final, if you are good in 4 E's, then the last one is passion. How passionate you are for the work that you carry out. It's the heartfelt, deep, authentic excitement about work. So if you are passionate about power industry, and that's what, if you pass the litmus test, if you pass the 4 E's, and if you are passionate about a particular industry, whether it's a power industry, whether it's a design institute or a manufacturing institute or a hospital, how passionate you are about your work. So this is a criteria for a panel of experts and the executives who are hiring young engineers. The third point is listen and answer the questions being asked. There's a problem often with graduates that they're impatient. Before the executive has finished asking the question, you tend to reply very quickly. So he is still speaking and you are trying to answer the question. So listen and answer the questions. Be extremely patient, and always use first person and focus on your individual, not what the team did. So make statements like, I was involved in this project, I was motivated to carry out this work, my major contribution was this. So it's important that first person use is carried out. Next one is ensure you read your application before your interview. Often you send the information and you do not know what is written in the information. So before you go for an interview, you must read your application and also go back through the example you gave in application. Then have a 70-30% eye contact. It's extremely important. 70% for the person asking the question amongst the panel. If someone has asked the question, you need to answer back to that person, but then maintain 30% of the eye contact with the rest of the people. And the next one is remember to enjoy yourself, as this is an opportunity to meet with senior colleagues. If you are too serious, if you take things too seriously, you will stress up and you will not perform well. So just take this an opportunity to meet with senior colleagues and enjoy yourself. And finally, remember that employer and employee both need each other. It's not that employee is desperate to get a job, it's employer's requirement as well. So both have stake in it. So that was the first thing I needed to talk about at the interview. Let's move on to the second part, which is structured career development. At Institute of Mechanical Engineers, United Kingdom's standard of professional engineering competence, which is known as UK spec, is used. Now, UK spec has been created by UK's Engineering Council and has been in use by over 40 other institutes like Institute of Civil Engineers, Institute of Electrical and Technology, Marine Engineering, Aeronautics, Welding Institute, etc. So over 40 institutes are using this standard to measure how competent the individual is. So what we are using as for structured career development at Institute of Mechanical Engineers, this UK spec. Now, I believe that not only it's valid for mechanical engineers, I mean, as I mentioned, that this is being used by other engineering disciplines as well, and also it can be used for other professions as well. So let's talk about what it entails. United Kingdom Standard for Professional Engineering Competence. They have simplified the number of competencies into 5 major competencies, and they call the first one as knowledge and understanding. How knowledgeable you are about the job. It's a combination of general and specialist engineering knowledge and understanding to optimize the application of existing and emerging technologies. So, first of all, you need to demonstrate the knowledge that you have if you are a fresh graduate of mechanical engineering. So you must know all of the knowledge that you acquired during your undergraduate, whether it's a heat transfer or strength of materials or vibration technology or automatic controls or quality control, etc. I can safely say that the same is applicable to, if you say, for example, if you are a metallurgical engineer or petroleum engineer. These are the knowledge that you take when you enter into any job. When you enter into any job, then you need to gain knowledge of that particular job, and also existing and emerging technologies, and you need to be mindful. Now, the second competency is practical application. If you have knowledge and understanding as the competency A, apply appropriate theoretical and practical methods to the analysis and solution of engineering problems. So, if you have sufficient knowledge, you have knowledge, and you can apply that knowledge in such a way that you are aware of these existing and emerging technologies, but can you actually apply when a problem comes? So it's a practical application. The third one is leadership skills. When you are given a task in which you have to lead, whether you can lead efficiently, can you manage your budgets, can you manage your teams, can you manage the contractors? So that's the third skill as leadership skills. The fourth one is communication and interpersonal skills. If you have all the skills and you don't have competence D, communication and interpersonal skills, I don't think that careers can progress. So I think that D competency is so important. So and as we had mentioned about competency to energize, as mentioned by GE's framework. If you are not good in inspiring people, and how can you energize people? So I think communication, interpersonal skill, extremely important. Then lastly, the professional conduct. Make a personal commitment to live by the appropriate code of professional conduct, recognizing the obligation to society, the profession, and the environment, mainly the health, safety, and environment and the ethics part. We will go a little bit in detail of these competencies. So let's talk about a little bit more detail and take some examples of knowledge and understanding. So if you are a fresh person going into a job, you need to acquire. So let me actually bring this pointer up so that we have a laser pointer. I'm talking about this first example. If you are new into the job, you need to acquire formal training related to the role, and that should be relevant to current and emerging technologies. There are some organizations which are good at providing these trainings. There are organizations which are not so good. So you are lucky if you work for an organization which is looking after your training needs. But if not, then you need to actually know where and how these trainings have to be acquired, and there are ways to get about it. So within this one circle, there could be around 30 to 40 things, list of things that you need to do. If you are operations engineer entering into power plant operations, then there are various systems that you need to learn and understand, whether it's within a boiler system. If I talk about the Rankine cycle, whether it's a boiler and it's a pressure parts, or a flue gas system, or it's the water cooling system, or it's the turbine itself and the control system, etc. So you can actually list down the training requirements that you have to do. Next one is introduction of new technology. So you need to be looking at what are the technologies available which can do my job in a better manner. Whether it's Lean, it's Six Sigma, you have new transducers, you have new components, you have new instruments that can actually give you better resolution of thickness measurement of certain thing, whether you can have a latest technology of scan, etc. So the next one is significant modification and refurbishment. Can you actually demonstrate that you can look at these modifications and some performance enhancement type of opportunities? Can you measure the performance with a view to improve the efficiency of the system? That is important competency. Successful problem solving on major breakdowns, malfunction, using first principles. So you go back and break down the problem and come up with a solution. Can you do a cost benefit analysis or potential new technology or process, and then present a report? So I think these are just example of knowledge and understanding competence. We move and look at some more competence examples, practical applications. First one, identifying improvement possibilities. You can look for some improvement possibility and compare one solution against the other, and then come up with a solution which actually improves your current process. So you need to be able to identify improvement possibilities. If a decision by the management is made to go ahead, you need to be able to specify the contract specifications, apply appropriate planning techniques. Then you need to actually run site services and operations, implementing both ad hoc and planned maintenance. If the plant has to be taken offline, what you need to do. Similarly, breakdown work, you need to break down work into discrete elements with the resource requirements and performance standards. So break down your work, big project into small work, and then you actually have to monitor that project very closely. Seeking solutions from others, whether this problem that you've identified, is this only one company who's providing solution, or there are many other companies who are providing solutions. And as a summary, you have to run the project as project manager. So competence B actually applies your knowledge that you've acquired in competence A to actually obtain the practical solution of the problem. Let's go to competence 3, which is leadership skills. Are you in a position, can you manage the project to time, cost and scope, monitoring budgets? That is the most important thing. You may well be in a situation, you may deliver the project, but you are not even worried about the cost. Or you may be able, you may actually deliver the project, but you are not worried about the time. So I think that's a good project, has to be completed in time, within cost and within scope. Leading multidisciplinary teams. So are you able to lead multidisciplinary teams, identifying their strengths and weaknesses, whether you have put best people for the right job, for the best job, whether you have created opportunities for your people who are developing to actually provide them exposure and develop them. Initiating specialist awareness trainings, because these are often opportunities where you create these trainings and actually bring the level of expertise of your employees to a higher level. You need to be able to understand the relevant contract laws, because this is an opportunity to make understanding of the contracts, and deploy technology to improve processes and ways of working. So were you looking for new technologies to improve your current process and exploit available resources effectively? Resources are always scarce, so you need to exploit them in the best possible manner. Let's go to competence, communication and interpersonal skills. You need to be making presentations on a regular basis at the management meetings, giving briefings to the staff, presentations with clients, meeting with key suppliers, negotiating timelines with clients or suppliers, or meeting your changing needs all the time. Now, you need to provide evidence, because this competence you do not achieve overnight. You need to develop this competence, and there are a number of forums available. One of them is Toastmasters, where each aspect of your learning in terms of communication and interpersonal skills is done through different projects. So you need to be able to provide evidence of your commitment to your leadership skills. Presenting own ideas with confidence and preparing project definitions. So you should be able to prepare project definitions and then present your own ideas. Very important. The next one, conducting meetings professionally within time and close out the action promptly. Often we've seen that executive meetings go on and on and on, take a lot of time and don't get anything out of it. So I think in order to achieve this competency, you need to actually conduct meetings effectively. Competency, professional conduct, sound knowledge of health and safety and environment codes and implementation. So not only you should be aware of the codes, but you should implement them very strictly. You should be seen as the role model for the organization, because if you do all well and do not do it safely, it's no point in doing it, because you are not going to get any business in the future. So that's how important it is to do it safely. Practice of safe system of work, permit to work. Are you aware of your work maintenance practices, risk assessment, fire risk, access protocol, working at heights, what kind of exposures you have, So you need to be aware of that. Strict compliance of ethics charter of the organization. What kind of ethics charters do you have? Whether you are prepared to apply this charter to a colleague who is very close to you, because when it comes to ethics, selective ethics will not work. So you need to apply this ethics charter across the board, whether it's hiring of contractors, it's gaining, putting people to job, hiring people, accepting gifts, etc. So you have to have these ethics charters applied strictly. Volunteering activities. Are you exposing yourself to volunteer and helping youngsters at local and national level? Are you carrying out health, safety, and environment audits? And that's what I talk about: coaching and mentoring other graduates and peers. Have you developed good development plan for yourself for first 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years? Next career steps and expectations, extremely important, because you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you need to have a plan in place. So that these were the 5 competencies that we talked about. I will just go back and revise one more time, because it's important. UK spec 5 competencies: knowledge and understanding, practical application, leadership skills, communication and interpersonal skill, and professional conduct. So we've covered the second part of the structured professional development, and we now move on to mentoring, the importance of mentoring. As Ken Blanchard says, feedback is the breakfast of champions. Every professional, every champion was an amateur once. So a mentor is necessary to let a person know what is he good at, what are the areas he or she needs to improve. So you need to look for mentor on or off the job, soonest in your career. So that's extremely important. Stewardship. Now you can set up your what should I do for knowledge and understanding, for the practical application, for the leadership skill, for the interpersonal skill, for the ethics. Expose yourself deliberately to the situations which will develop your competency. Just request your colleagues, request people around you who can be sympathetic to your cause and who are volunteering to develop you. Let them know that whenever there is an opportunity for HSE, if there is an incident, please include me in that. So I think you need to actually take things in your own hand. And formal quarterly review is extremely important, and record proceedings. You need to actually make record of these proceedings, because institute can actually ask you to demonstrate your evidence for continuous professional development. For young engineers, we have a program called Structured Registration Scheme. So this is one option where you can apply, and this is being monitored at UK. So first of all, people who are in this workshop, if you are not part of any of these corporate or any of these membership of these bodies, you can still have your quarterly stewardship, sit with a mentor, list down these 5 competencies, and then have the paperwork, and then go back to your records every time when you sit with your mentor. Now, as a summary, my recommendation to you is take things in your own hand. Invest in your careers. No one is going to come. You will be lucky if you are working for an organization, but you need to invest in your careers. Continue with the corporate membership. Often it is seen that affiliates or who are affiliates of Institute of Mechanical Engineers, when they graduate, they stop being affiliates. What a waste. why you became member in the first place when you had to stop. You actually found its value. That's why you became member. So I think you need to continue to progress. Do not stop becoming a member. Continue your membership. First of all, once you become a graduate, it's free for a period, and then even it's a charge, very nominal charge. It's only £25 for affiliate member initially, compared to a fellow who pays £300, around 60,000 rupees, and this is about 5,000 rupees. You go for a meal at a hotel, you pay 10,000 rupees. So what kind of 10,000 rupees invest in your careers? If you are going to make that kind of investment, only invest if you are going to volunteer, because the volunteer actually helps you grow. So you need to create opportunity to volunteer all the time. And networking. So you need to be able to network all the time, and these forums are an excellent way of networking. So once you are a member of these forums, look for all other professional forums on which you can become members. So that's my summary of this workshop. As a final statement, with a structured career development, when the strong winds blow, you will stand tall and proud, inshallah. Proud trees. Thankful to Institution of Mechanical Engineers, young members group who managed to put together this workshop, and also Petroleum Club of Pakistan, who joined hands with the Institution of Mechanical Engineers to arrange this workshop. For any further information, I have my contact details. Do take it down and send me your question if you want to discuss any aspects. In the meantime, we will have your question. We'll take your questions, and I will ask Doha to shoot the questions, and if I can unshare right now.
First of all, thank you so much, sir, for your time that you invested today for us. We have a few questions. If you let me, can I ask?
Right, just let me unshare this. Yes, you can ask the questions.
Sir, one of the question is that...
can you speak a bit louder, Doha?
I'm sorry, sir. My apologies. Sir, there is a question that is there a platform provided by IMechE where the young graduates can do their internships?
Right. Institute of Mechanical Engineers, well, it just helps to create environment for internships. It does not have any internship program in itself. Like I mentioned that the key activities within the chapters that you have, Speak Out for Engineers, design competitions, student formula, and unmanned aerial vehicles. I think this in itself just gives you enough of the platform. We do not currently have any internship, but we facilitate, for instance, as long as I was part of the HubCo, and members do have influence. For instance, a number of times universities came and asked for an industry visit, and I was the one who fully supported, and short-term engagements as well. So currently we don't have any formal program, but we do facilitate the exposure for students to go and look at it, especially when the time is right. For example, if it's an outage and shutdown, people are they do arrange chapter chairs, they arrange visits. So
Sir, next question is that if someone from the young graduates, they are expert in CAD modeling or other software as well, can they provide their services to the IMECI as a volunteer?
I think definitely. I think my advice to all the members here is that whatever skills you have, you do get in touch with your executive teams. Tell them what kind of skill sets you have and what kind of contributions you can make. And better still, you need to look for opportunities to become part of the executive team. Sometimes you have opportunities you can co-opt. For example, a chair and the vice chair and the secretary, they always need a helping hand. All the time, they need a helping hand. So as long as you go and let them know that you are available, then you can actually make those contributions.
So the next question is somehow related to your answer. That how can we become a part of the executive team after graduation?
Sure. I think the first important thing which I was alluding to was continue investing in your career. And when I say continue investing in your career, do not stop becoming an affiliate. So continue your journey, because as I've said, you don't want to be a fallen tree. You want to actually stand proud, and that can only happen when you continuously grow. And how you can become part of the executive team, first thing is continue your membership. And when you continue your membership, you let your intentions known to the executive committees of local chapters, south chapter or the north chapter. So let them know that you are interested. There are positions available all the time.
So the next question is that how much does it cost to do courses online under the umbrella of IMECI? The courses they are available to IMECI, how can we opt in and what are the basic cost of them?
Course, you mean?
Just as you gave a presentation or on career development, so is there any course that we can opt for it?
Yes. Well, I think first of all, you need to look at the 5 competencies of UK spec 5 competencies. What course are we talking about? Let's say my advice to all of you is to look at these 5 competencies: knowledge and understanding. For example, knowledge and understanding for a power engineer could be different. Do I want to be expert on operating the turbine or operating the boiler or maintenance of turbine, or do I want to improve my skill in designing? If I'm talking about millet tractors in Pakistan, do I want to get training on numeric control machines? If I'm talking about doctor, if I want to become a cardiologist, do I want to get training on the ECG machine or the electrocardiogram or any other procedure that is there? So it will vary on the competence as long as you are aware. So you need to actually deliberately expose yourself to all of these 5 competencies. So depending upon some of the exposure you will get by just spending time, some of the competence you will be exposed by becoming member of some kind of organization. For example, when I talk about competence D, which is communication and leadership, the cheapest way to become proficient in communication is to become a member of the Toastmasters Club. So Toastmasters Club annual fees is only 12,000 rupees. So 6,800 or 7,000 rupees for 6 months. You have a meal, you go to a restaurant, you pay 10,000 rupees. So you need to invest in your own career. So if some organization help you to get your objective, it's fine. But you need to actually list down for each of the individual competencies what kind of training you need, and then see if someone can sponsor it. So that's what you need to actually ask yourself. Okay, I need these competencies, 5 competencies for the next quarter. I need these trainings. Can somebody sponsor it? No, someone cannot sponsor it. Then you look for your other ways to get it. Coincidentally, COVID has brought the world together. COVID has provided so many trainings online which were not available before. So I think it's you who has to do a lot of work to list down your competency requirements and see where these competencies are available. I hope I clarified this in sufficient detail.
Yes, sir. Another question is that it is possible to obtain an internship or a job through IMECI.
Internship or job, IMECI is not in the business of providing jobs. IMECI is a platform which helps professionals grow. And when you grow as a professional, you are in great demand and you get a job. So if you develop your competencies, IMECI provides you that framework and that conducive environment to become a product that everyone is looking for. I can assure you that if you latch on to all of these competencies early on, every employer will be looking for you.
Sir, another question is that if you are not affiliated with IMECI at the university level or the school level, can you get affiliated with it later on after graduation, or it is necessary to be a member at your university first to be a member after graduation?
I think it's always helpful if you are affiliate. If you are affiliate, then you know the ropes, you know inside out of the organization, how it's working. So it's better if you become an affiliate, but if you are not an affiliate, you can still apply, and I think affiliate is not an issue, and there is a group of people in UK, they are looking at your credentials all the time, so I don't see that you should say that if you are not affiliate, then it's over. So it's not over, so you should become an affiliate as soon as possible.
Sir, another question is that does IMECI sponsor the students if they are trying to do some kind of project that's not just not like AKDC or anything, that a different project or a different idea they are thinking about, is that going to be funded by IMECI or not?
Okay, Doha, there are some fundings available at IMECI level all the time, and good ideas are always in demand. So you have to actually talk to your respective executive teams in the country. So you need to talk with them whether that's an idea where some funding can be made available. Sometimes you do have available funding, sometimes you don't. For example, IMECI concentrates, we in Pakistan, we concentrate mainly on these 4 major activities that I mentioned: Speak Out for Engineers, Design Challenge, and Unmanned Aerial Vehicle, and Student Formula. But then there are a number of other activities that we become part of. So you can still ask this question, whether any activity you can get some kind of sponsorship.
Thank you so much, sir. That's it for today's question answer session. I hope your lecture will be a light for us in the coming years as an undergraduate student. And for the graduate student, it must be a path to obtain a successful career. Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Again, it was my pleasure, Doha, and thank you for inviting me for this.
Thank you so much, sir. Pleasure was ours. Thank you.